What is up, guys? Thank you all so much for tuning in. So I know you're looking to lose weight quick in about a week, so I'm going to give you my strategies on how you can lose 5 to 10 pounds in the easiest, most comprehensive way possible. Here we go. So I had a question from Sarah, and she sent me this question via email. You can find my email address down below. And the question is, Austin, is it possible to lose weight in 1 week? And if so, how can I do it? I have a big event coming up and I need to lose a few extra pounds quick. Well, first off, thank you so much for sending your question, Sarah. And let me just say, before I get into it, I am definitely not against, weight loss in extreme situations like this where, you have to lose a few pounds for a wedding or a big event. But ideally, if you were one of my clients, I would suggest losing weight over time, consistently over time and not this rapid weight loss. But I also realize that if you're asking the question, others are asking the question, and it's going to be done regardless. So I might as well give you, I'll say, my healthiest tips on how you can do this and lose anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds guaranteed. So tip number 1, and I wrote them down just so I don't forget them. I want to make sure I give you all the information because I can sometimes just ramble on like I'm doing right now. So let's get into it. All right, so tip number 1. The easiest, I'll say, way and the most surefire way to lose a few extra pounds is by lowering your carb intake. So, when it comes to carbs and sugars and things like that, like a lot of our diets are really high in carbs, whether it's bread, rice, pasta, things like that a lot of people really enjoy. Just by lowering your carb intake, you can lose a few extra pounds in as little as a day. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to substitute your starchy carbs, the usual carbs that you would eat, for low carb vegetables. And what I'll do, I'll leave a list down below of some of the low carb vegetables that I'm talking about. But by substituting, your sugar intake and your starchy carbs and other carbs, by substituting that stuff out. And my thing is, if you're looking to do this in a week, you can get away from that stuff for 1 week to lose those extra pounds. So substitute those starchy carbs and the normal carbs you would eat for low carb vegetables. Focus on increasing your protein intake, because what that's going to do, because you're going to be substituting out a lot of the carbs and things that you usually would eat, you're going to probably be hungry a lot more often. So by adding protein into your diet and really focusing on lean protein, you're going to take care of the, hunger pangs you might get, and it's going to keep you full longer while also maintaining your lean mass. So what am I essentially saying? Lower your carbs, cut out completely your sugars, your processed foods, chips, candy, anything like that. And if you're really serious about doing this in a week, that shouldn't be a problem. Now, introduce more low carb vegetables into your diet and focus on getting your protein in. So protein, low carb vegetables, and you should see at least, just from that tip alone, at least 5 to 7 pounds difference in a week. Tip number 2. Now this one, again, super important and very, very doable. What has to happen, like this is almost a non-negotiable, what has to happen is you have to lower your calorie intake. So step number 1 will kind of in a way help you naturally lower your calorie intake, but you need to be very strategic and intentional about this. So what I've also done down below, I'm going to give you a link to a website that'll help you, figure out how many calories you need to be eating based on your height, your weight, what you're trying to do, so that you can lose that weight. So you're not going to be able to lose the weight if you're not reducing how many calories you're eating on a daily basis. So, like I said, go down below, click that link and punch in the numbers and it'll spit out a calorie calculation. So once you get that, what you're going to have to do is download a food logging type of program or app. And my favorite one is MyFitnessPal. Super, super intuitive, very easy to use, and has a huge library of foods so that you can put, plug your foods in there so that you can get proper, data back and be able to calculate those calories. So you have to cut your calories if you want to lose weight. Tip number 3, you need to be exercising. No duh. But listen, I'm telling you, when you lower your carbs, increase your protein, you're now reducing your calories. You're going to have to continue to, put your body into a caloric deficit. And what happens when you lower your calorie intake and you kind of switch around your eating habits? your body is going to naturally slow down the metabolism so it doesn't burn as much. Your body's built to last. It's built to, change and adjust to whatever it is you throw at it. So by lowering your calories, you're also going to be lowering your metabolism so your body doesn't die, basically, because you're not giving it, food for energy and enough calories for energy. So what you're going to have to do to continue to put your body into a caloric deficit and see that weight loss is exercise. Now, my suggestion for exercise is high intensity interval training. So that could be, if you were to get on the treadmill, you would jog or run for 30 seconds, then you would rest for 20 seconds, and then jog or run for 30 seconds, rest for 20 seconds. So doing that interval training is not only going to help you burn the maximum amount of calories, but it also provides an afterburn once you stop working out. So after you leave, it's called EPOC. I won't get into the science of it, but it's going to cause your body to continue burning at a high level after you finish working out. So perform some high intensity interval training. And what I'll also do down below, I'll drop a sample of a HIIT workout that you can perform on your own. So get that exercise in. Number 4. So last but not least, my last suggestion for you, like I said, I wouldn't do any of these tips long term if I were you in this particular way. But you can utilize these 4, consistently throughout the rest of your life to, maintain a healthy weight, but don't be as extreme as I'm telling you to be right now. But for the 4th tip, intermittent fasting. I know that sounds super complex, but it's very, very simple. The whole idea around intermittent fasting is you have a window of time where you eat, and then you have a window of time where you're fasting. And obviously the fasting time needs to be longer than the eating time. So how would that look? Let's say you wanted to do intermittent fast for 14 hours. What that would basically mean is you have an 8-hour window where you could eat, and then 14 hours where you're not eating. So ideally, that would look like this. If you woke up at, let's say, 6 o'clock each day, and you wanted to have an 8-hour window. So if you wake up at 6 o'clock, you might have breakfast by 7. So 7 o'clock starts that 8-hour window where you can eat. So you would eat 7. You would be able to, eat from 7 all the way. Wow, my math is so bad. That would be what, 3? So 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9, 10, 10 to 11, 11, 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Yep. So you would be eating from 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, you would need to stop eating, and that would start your intermittent fasting period until that next day at 7 o'clock. So again, the idea is find a time slot where, you're up and you're moving around, and I would fit my workouts into that time slot because you don't want to work out during the fast because you'll probably die because you are super hungry and don't have enough energy. But the idea is have a space of time, an amount of time, whether it's 8 hours or 10 hours. I like 10 hours because that gives me a little bit more, wiggle room. 10 hours. So if you eat at 7, you got to stop eating by 5, but make sure you have the set parameters. Okay, this is the time I can eat. And then, like I said, make sure that intermittent fasting is a longer amount of time. So the perfect breakdown for me is 10 hours of eating, 14 hours of not eating. So 7 to 5, 8 to 6, 9 to 7. Like it doesn't matter what the time is, but just make sure you stick to that. And again, that's going to help your body burn, and it's going to keep you in that caloric deficit so that you can see that weight loss. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was very helpful. Listen, if you like I said, utilize these strategies and you're not losing at least 5 to 10 pounds in 7 days, then something's wrong with you. You need to go to the doctor and get yourself checked out. Because here's the thing, by lowering your calories, performing your high intensity training so that you're burning even more, by limiting your carbs and your sugars and really focusing on low carb vegetables, that way you're still getting your nutrients. And then by performing intermittent fasting, if you're not seeing crazy weight loss, like I said, you need to go get checked out. So hopefully this was, enjoyable and very, very educational for you. Hopefully you can take these tips, utilize them, and down low in the comment section, if you have questions that you want me to address, things about fitness, health, exercise, doesn't matter, drop it in the comment section below and I'll get to it when I can. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll holler at you all later. Peace.